Hi guys, this is Jenshu. I'm back again with another vocabulary video, and this is the 14th of the session. And without delaying, I'm gonna start the session with first word of the day. And I want to tell you something that in previous video I have discussed about 20 words with you, but in that video I was not able to provide you the words with pictures and kind of trick. Kind of sentence which carries a trick, because I had a very short period of time. I was going through those vocabulary, so I thought uh, that would be good if I it would be good that if I shared that with you, and it would be easier for me to remind those words, remember those words meaning with by watching watching that video again. So for that purpose I recorded that video, but you may need to revise the video more and more times to get a good understanding of those words. But it is not difficult for you, it won't be difficult for you to catch those words easily. You can go and watch my previous video, which is the vocabulary 13th day. And today also I'm doing same thing. I was reading newspaper. I know I usually read two newspapers, the Himalayan Times and the Kathmandu Post. And in between, when I'm reading the articles or newspaper, if I find some words which may be difficult to me or which are unknown to me, I jot that down in my note, and I make uh, I search for meaning and sentences of those words, and I make sentences by myself sometimes. And if I can if I feel difficult for making sentences of those words, then I search for sentences in the net. By the way, I'm talking a lot, I guess. So I won't be talking anymore. I will start the video with first word of the day. First word of the day is deadlock. Deadlock means a complete failure to reach agreement or settlement, or settle an argument. A complete failure to reach agreement and settle an argument. The minister is busy in arranging discussion among the party members in order to end the deadlock. He's discussing among the party members to end the failure, which is already a complete failure, but also he is trying to discuss, he is trying to get a resolution. Another sentence is, the farmers' protests have reached deadlock since the government is acting as deaf as the doorpost to them. The farmers' protest has reached deadlock. The farmers' protests have reached a complete failure. It means their protest has been a complete failure because government is not listening to them. Second word of the day is rollout. Rollout means the official launch or introduction of a new product or service, to make a new product, service or system available for the first time. The official launch or introduction of a new product or service, or to make a new product, a service, a system available for the first time. Launching for the first time. Launch means they are introducing something for first time, right? Drug Administration authorized an emergency rollout of the vaccine developed by Moderna, INC, and the National Institute of Health. Drug Administration authorized an emergency rollout. This is emergency distribution for the first time. Emergency introduction of the vaccine. Emergency distribution of the vaccine for the first time. The Huawei company is expected to roll out a new mobile phone very soon. It is expected to launch a new phone very soon. Third word of the day is promulgation. Promulgation means the act of officially or publicly announcing a new law or system. The act of officially or publicly announcing a new law or system. Promulgation. The Home Minister wants peace and security in the state, so he organizes promulgation of social security law on Tuesday. He is announcing social security law. The law is already made, but promulgation means he is publicly announcing it is being valid since that day. Once it is promulgated, then it is valid. Before that, people don't need to obey that rule, but after its promulgation, people must heed to that law. They should move according to that law. They cannot go against the things which is said in that law. Other sentences intra-party feud deepen in NCP after PM only pushed the promulgation of an ordinance amending some key provisions of the Constitutional Council Act. PM only pushed the promulgation of an ordinance. He pushed the announcement of an ordinance, public announcement of ordinance amending key provisions of the act which was already there. He amended some provisions of the existing law and promulgated it. Promulgate means announced publicly. Promulgation means announcement publicly. Promulsion was involved in promulgation of a new law. Promulsion was involved in announcement of a new law. Public announcement of a new law. Fourth word is dire. Dire means extremely serious or urgent. He added a second COVID-19 vaccine to its arsenal yesterday, boosting efforts to beat back an outbreak so dire that the nation is regularly recording more than 3,000 deaths a day. So dire. Extremely serious or urgent. So urgent, so serious that the nation is regularly recording more than 3,000 deaths a day. People say die or do in dire situation that makes it easier to survive and move ahead. People say die or do in dire situation, in serious situations, in extremely serious situations, in dire situation that makes it easier to survive and move ahead. I've heard of wolves morphing in dire situation, but always thought they were just stories. I've heard that wolves morphing, wolves changing their appearance in dire situation means in urgent or severe situations, but always thought that they were just stories. Yes, they are actually just stories. Another word for the day is ramp up. Ramp up means to increase rapidly to a new value. To increase rapidly to a new value. Vaccine is very similar to the one from Pfizer INC and Germany's biotech that's now being dispensed to millions of healthcare workers and nursing home residents as the biggest vaccination drive in US history starts to ramp up. US history, the biggest vaccination drive in US history starts to increase rapidly. The biggest vaccination drive in US history starts to ramp up, means it starts to increase rapidly to a new value. Ram is ramping up camping programs unnecessarily. People want to get back to home. Ram is ramping up camping programs. Ram is increasing camping programs rapidly, but people don't want to get engaged in those camping programs. They want to get back to home. But Ram is ramping up the programs which people don't prefer to be involved in. Another sentence is headcount in our office ramped up over 3 months. Headcount in our office increased to a new value. It is increased very highly up over 3 months. Sixth word of the day is unabated. Continuing, a, continuing at full strength or intensity. Unabated. Continuing at full strength or intensity. A second action represents a ray of hope amid despair as the virus continues to spread unabated even before holiday gathering that are certain to further fuel the outbreak. Virus continues to spread unabated means virus continues to spread at full strength and intensity even before holidays gathering. Even before holidays gathering, a virus is spreading unabated. In a full, they are spreading. Virus is spreading in full strength, unabated. Honor tries to make people happy unabated by his comedian character. Honor tries to make people happy unabated by his comedian character. He tries to make people happy at full strength and intensity by his comedian character. I was working hard unabated to secure good marks in exam. I was working hard at my full strength and I continued working at full strength and intensity to secure good marks in exam. Seventh word of the day is reminiscent. Reminiscent means tending to remind one of something. Tending to remind one of something. Reminiscent. Tending to remind one of something. California's hospitals running out of intensive care beds and ambulances lining up outside emergency room in skin reminiscent of the calamity around New York City last spring. California's hospitals running out of intensive care beds and ambulances lining up outside emergency rooms in skin reminiscent of, similar of, SMAs of calamity around New York City last spring. That scene remind remind us of calamity around New York City last spring. That is SMAs, the calamity around New York City last spring, right? Reminiscent means SMAs, like remind one of something, tending to remind one of something. Those wonderful sights of kids playing in the garden were reminiscent of my childhood. The sights of kids playing in the garden were tending to remind me of my childhood. I was working hard unabated to secure good marks in exam. This was example of unabated. It's okay. Another eighth word is cavalry, a source of help or rescue in an emergency, especially as a last resort. Cavalry means a source of help or rescue in an emergency, especially as a last resort. When New York's hospitals were in crisis, healthcare workers from across the country came to help out. This time there is no cavalry coming because so many hospitals are swamped. So many hospitals are already busy giving service to the coronavirus affected people. They're already so busy, and because of that, there is no cavalry coming, no rescue team is coming, no help they are getting. Cavalry means a source of help and rescue, especially in emergency situation. Cavalry. She says she wouldn't be sending the cavalry to sort out the country's problems. She said she wouldn't be sending the cavalry. She wouldn't be sending in the a source of help or rescue in an emergency, especially as a last resort, to sort out the country's problem. Rival team has no cavalry, so being a nurse, I went to rescue a player who fainted and flopped on the ground. Rival team has no cavalry, so being a nurse. Rival team has no cavalry. They didn't organize a source of help or a source of rescue when they would get ill. So I went there because I am a nurse. It's in my duty to help them in a difficult or severe situation. Another word is ninth word is swamped. Swamped means very busy, having too much to do. Hospitals were swamped while swine flu spread unabated. Hospitals were so busy they had too much to do when swine flu spread at full strength, at full intensity. They have been swamped ever since they started advertising. Once they started advertising, their business started to grow. So they have been swamped. They have been so busy, they had too much to do. They are swamped since their college started after a long period of time, is they have to cover whole syllables in a short period of time. There are some they became very busy when their college started because they had to read a lot. 10th word is churn out. Churn out means to produce a large quantity of something rapidly and easily. The nation is scrambling to expand vaccination as rapidly as Moderna and Pfizer can churn out doses to produce large quantity of doses. As Pfizer and Moderna can uh, produce doses as much as they can in a large quantity, right? Churn out means to produce in large quantity. Lakshmi Prasad Dipkota was renowned for his ability to churn out heart-touching collection of poems. He had an ability to produce large quantity of poems very easily. That is churn out. Samsung is churning out thousands of mobile sets in January. Samsung is producing large quantity of mobile phone sets in January. 11th word is ration. Ration means to supply with a ration to limit someone to specific allowance of something. Ration means to supply with a ration to limit someone to a specific allowance of something. Even with additional candidate in the pipeline, there won't be enough for general population until spring, and SARS will be rationed in the meantime. SARS means doses of coronavirus vaccines will be rationed in the meantime. Even with additional candidates in pipeline, there won't be enough for the general population until spring. Until spring season, there won't be enough adequate vaccines. So the vaccines will be rationed in the meantime. Vaccines will be limited. It will be supplied with a certain numbers in the meantime. We ration ourselves to few packets of biscuit and water a day until we were rescued. We limited ourselves to a few packets of biscuits because we didn't have a lot. Another sentence is Ram rations his sons 200 rupees for bus fare and lunch. Ram gives his son in small amount of money, and because of and his son has to manage for his bus fare and lunch by the rationed money. 12th word is very. Very means cautious of danger, carefully watching and guarding against deception, trickery, and danger. Suspiciously prudent. We must teach our children to be always wary of strangers. We must teach our children to be cautious of strangers, to be careful about strangers, right? Another word, dogs were wary of thieves. Dogs were very careful, were watchful of thieves. When the supercilious boss came in, the smile on his face sadly faded, and a weary expression took his place. A weary expression which carries carefulness, and he was kind of serious, and there was the weary expression took his place. Another word is instill. Instill means to cause a quality to become part of someone's nature. Instill means to cause a quality to become part of someone's nature. My mom was trying to instill. Sorry, instill is double L. My mom was trying to instill confidence within me while I was getting nervous to go for an interview. I was getting nervous to go for an interview. She was trying to instill confidence. Uh, she was trying to make me confident. She was trying to make me confident. Instill confidence means she was putting confidence in me. It's important to instill discipline in a child at an early age. It is important to instill discipline in a child at an early age. We have to instill. Uh, um, we have to make them discipline, right? Instill discipline to cause equality become part of someone. We had to make our children disciplined. It's important to instill discipline in child. Okay, another sentence. try to help instill confidence, to try to help instill confidence. Vice President, no, it is not double L. I think it's single L. Instill is single L. Vice President Mike Office received the Pfizer BioNTech shot on live TV yesterday, along with Surgeon General John Adams, to help people instill confidence, to help people to get confidence, to fill people with confidence. Vice Presidents received the vaccine. Instill is single L, INSTIL. Okay, there is double L. That is to be amended. 14th word is opprobrium. Opprobrium is criticism, has criticism or censure. He just on opprobrium by throwing his parents out of his home. He just on criticism. He just on censure by throwing his parents out of his home. All of a sudden move on Tuesday of lodging an ordinance to amend some clauses of Constitutional Council Act, making it easier for him to call the council meeting and taking decision attracted widespread opprobrium, widespread criticism. It attracted widespread criticism. If you fail to do appropriate things, you may face a great deal of opprobrium. If you didn't do appropriate things, then you may have to face a great deal of criticism. Last and 15th word of the day is blows. Blows means to produce forcefully or insensitively. Blows. The Prime Minister premeditated to bulldoze through a full socialist program to win impending polls. The Prime Minister pre-planned to bulldoze to proceed forcefully and insensitively through a socialist program to win upcoming polls. And otherwise, all is sudden move on Tuesday of bulldozing an ordinance to amend some clause. All is sudden move on Tuesday of bulldozing an ordinance to process an ordinance forcefully to amend some clauses of it. The clauses of an act, making it easier for him to call the council meetings and taking decisions, attracted widespread opprobrium, means widespread criticism. My parents are bullying me to marry a person I detest. My parents are uh, processing forcefully. They are pressing me to marry a person. They are insisting me to marry a person which I detest. Proceed forcefully. Blows. So this way the words for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you get the meaning of words very easily, and you remember these words for a very long period of time. If you want to have a better understanding of this words, then you have to watch this video again and again until you gain a proper knowledge of these words. And if you gain a knowledge on these words, then when you go to a newspaper, English newspaper, it will be very easy for you to read that newspaper. uh, so please keep watching my videos, and don't forget to like and share it with your friends. I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, you take care. Bye bye.